Okay, welcome to lecture number 6 in relation with experiment number 2, where RLC transients you will be studying. So, I discussed about resistance, inductance, and now today I am going to discuss about another energy storing element which is called a capacitor. Okay, so a capacitor, and I will go rather quickly from now onwards, but nonetheless I will highlight the main points and take a somewhat deeper look into a capacitance. You know, a capacitor is denoted by two plates like this separated, and and you also know, if you show the current IT, then there will be a voltage appearing across the capacitor, and the value of the capacitance is C. If that is the case, then IT will be equal to C dV dt. With the directions assumed in this way, this is the way how current and voltage across the capacitor are related. And you also recall that Q equal to CV. In fact, I is equal to dq dt, and from this you get this relationship. C being constant can be taken outside this uh, differential dq dt. So this is the thing. So terminal relationship between voltage and current of a capacitor, ideal capacitor, is like this, assuming there is no losses in the capacitor. And so this is the thing. Now this can be written as or I will write it in this way, that dV dt is equal to IT, and V will be equal to into C, and VT, voltage at any time t, will be this integral. And what will be the limit of the integration? Minus infinity to t. See, in the capacitor, you should look at a capacitor in this way, that IT is the IT causes voltage VT to be developed across the plates. Reason is obvious, because to have some charge here, plus Q minus Q, on the plates of the capacitor, you must dump some charge on the plates of the capacitor. How can you dump charge? If you allow current to flow to a capacitance, then IT will be the current into dt. If you do, I into time will give you charge, coulomb, Q by C. It is indeed Q. This integral term is Q. How much charge you have dumped on the plates of the capacitor. So this equation is this one. So IT is the cause. That way you look at the thing, and VT is the effect. You must pass some current, then only capacitor will develop some voltage. In case of an inductor, you must apply some voltage for certain time, so that there will be some current in the inductor. So capacitor is often called a dual element. Remember, In case of an inductor, it was like this, 1 over L minus infinity to t Vt dt. So Vt was applied voltage across the inductor, inductance was the cause, and It was a consequence of that. The current was developed in the inductor. In case of a capacitor, it is dual, that is, you pass some current for certain time so that charge gets accumulated on the plates of the capacitor, and in return you get some voltage developed across the plates of the capacitor. Now this thing can be further expanded. Mind you, the limits of integration is minus infinity to t. So the voltage developed at time t across the plate of the capacitor not only depends upon the present current at time t, but also depends upon the previous current that the capacitor was pumped with, injected with till time t. So it is a memory device. So capacitor is a memory device, memory element, because the current value of the voltage across the plate of the capacitor depends not only upon the present current It, but also depends on the previous currents that the capacitor was asked to carry till time t. So all the currents are involved. Therefore, this equation, in the same way as we did in case of an inductor, can be broken up into three pieces. For example, I can write it as minus infinity to 0 minus It dt. Then from 0 minus to 0 plus It dt, and finally plus 1 over c 0 plus 2 time t It dt. That was the thing, you know. So to develop voltage across the plate of a capacitor, what you have to spend? There you spend volt second. Here you have to spend ampere second. You have to apply some ampere over certain time, then only some charge will be accumulated on the plate of the capacitor. You understand that? Now, here if I say that if the excitation current, so this is the input cause, if this It is not an delta function, then it will be, has to be treated separately. Then what will happen is this voltage across the capacitor will be Vt is equal to then what happens is the fate of this integral under that condition has to become equal to 0, the fate of this integral. Because of the fact It is not an impulse, no sudden change in current will take place from 0 minus to 0 plus. Incidentally, what is 0? At time t equal to 0, you are doing some switching. Before that, it was accumulating current, it was accumulating charge or voltage across the plates of the capacitor depending upon the previous currents, etc. Therefore, you can easily see the first term is minus infinity to 0 minus, so this must be the voltage developed across the plates of the capacitor for previous currents up to time t equal to 0 minus. And from 0 minus to 0 plus, this integral has to become 0 because no impulse, so it is a reasonable function, including a steep rise in current from one finite value to another. area under that curve, because 0 minus and 0 plus, the difference between this interval can be made as small as possible. Therefore, the area under this curve it dt will become then 0, and you will be left with 1 over c 0 plus 2t and it dt. Is not that is the thing. In such a situation, 0 minus, 0 plus and 0, they will appear to be same. If it is a reasonable function of time, this is true. Okay. So this is Vt is equal to this one. Obviously, or I can write V0 plus at time 0 plus, it will then look like V0 minus plus of V0 minus plus of what? This integral is 0 plus to 0 plus, is not t equal to 0 plus. Put t equal to 0 plus on both the sides. So this integral will be vanishing and you will be having this condition. Therefore, voltage across the plates of the capacitor cannot change suddenly. Voltage developed across the plate of the capacitor will be continuous function. Okay, Vt. It cannot have a step jump. Therefore, a capacitor, if you look at it, and if exciting current, input current, is a reasonable function of time, then the capacitor voltage cannot change instantaneously. So this you must understand. The second point I would like to mention is that energy stored in a capacitor can be very easily now found out. Can be found out in this way. You know that, but let me just very quickly tell you that this is the capacitor. Okay, C. At any time, if this is the voltage Vt, current is IT. Okay, it goes like this. So voltage across the capacitor is this. So I know these things. IT is equal to C dVdt. Just a point to tell you that better live with current and voltage. Never try to express these things in terms of charge on the plate of the capacitor. Of course, I can always find out how much coulomb right now is present on the plate of the capacitor if you know the voltage. Is not B equal to Q equal to CV. That I can always do. But in circuit, people are interested in current voltage, so restrict to that. So this is the thing, and we got this one, that voltage is equal to at any time it will be V0 minus plus 0 plus 2t it dt over C. This is the thing. This is the fundamental equation we'll be dealing with. And V0 plus will be equal to V0 minus, because t equal to 0 plus, integrating this function with same limits will give rise to 0. So, and we got that V0 plus is equal to V0 minus. T equal to 0 is the instant when I am changing the circuit configuration, topology, etc. by doing some switching. Okay, so this is the thing. Now, if you assume that if suppose V0 minus is equal to suppose the voltage across the plate of the capacitor is Vt. Now, the way I have drawn and the way I have assumed the polarities of the voltage and direction of the current, energy is absorbed by the capacitor. Power absorbed, very quickly let me do, power absorbed by C will be equal to Pt. Bt could be any function of time, we don't mind. So Pt is equal to Bt into It, instantaneous power absorbed by the capacitor. Okay, this will be the thing. Then energy supplied over a small interval of time, energy supplied, energy absorbed by C over dt time over a small interval of time will then be equal to this Pt into dt, that is equal to Vt, It and dt. Okay, now then I know that this is Vt, but It is equal to C dV dt, C is constant, dV dt into dt, dt goes. Therefore, energy supplied is simply CV dV. So, what is the total energy supplied up to time t? Here you notice that this is to be integrated, no doubt, C dV dt, C dV, but there is no scope of putting the in terms of time. I cannot put the limits because the integration is to be carried out in terms of voltage. So assuming that the voltage at time t is V, and say from 0 to V I started the business with V0 minus equal to 0, then this merely becomes half CV square, which is a very known and popular result so far as capacitance is concerned. So much joules will be stored in a capacitor. Where that joule is stored? It will be stored in the electric field lines of forces, because in a capacitor, I will not go to the field analysis now. Lines of forces are like this. It will be created within the plates of the capacitor, like magnetic lines of force are created in the core of a magnetic circuit. Therefore, electric lines of forces, people think that okay, energy is stored there, nothing is dissipated if it is an ideal capacitor. If the voltage across the plate of the capacitor becomes 0, then these lines of forces will also vanish. So presence of lines of force means energy is stored in terms of electric field energy, and that is of course derived from your source. Whichever source you have connected, from that you can find out the energy stored in the plates of a capacitor. Is that clear? Therefore, a capacitor voltage cannot change instantaneously, and you have these things. So then naturally the question is how voltage will develop under different kind of excitation. At least two examples let me give you. So to establish voltage across the plates of a capacitor, you have to spend ampere second. That is why capacitors are called dual element. Whatever is happening to the inductor, that IV changes their roles. So you have to spend ampere second, or because it is so obvious, you have to spend some coulomb. So if you pass a constant current, that is, suppose a capacitor is there, across it you are connecting a current source, IT, IT, C, and suppose B0 minus was 0, the previous history is taken care of, that integration minus infinity to 0 minus is well represented by a single number V0 minus. How much voltage was present across the plate of the capacitor, let us assume that is 0, and then you say that you are given a current pulse to the plate of the capacitor 0 to t of magnitude say plus I ampere. Constant current source IT is a pulse, and this axis is of course time, and this is the input current to the capacitor. Current is the cause, and it is the voltage which will be developed. Then you can easily see that the voltage in this particular case, it is C dV dt. C dV dt is I, which is constant for t greater than 0, and V will then be equal to 1 over C into I into T. So capacitor current, voltage across the plate of the capacitor Vt will be linearly increasing, up to certain voltage at time t. That is, this final value of the voltage is 1 over C into I into capital T. You get that point. And after that the current is 0. Current is 0 means a current source has been disconnected here. So that voltage will be retained by the capacitor plate, because beyond T, capital T, I am telling I have withdrawn the current source. So for T greater than T, the circuit is simply this one. And by that time it has reached a voltage whose level is 1 over C into I into capital T. This is the voltage to which it is developed. And you have spent so much of volts second to establish that voltage, because area under the current time curve is the voltage developed across the plates of the capacitor. So similarly, if you apply a negative pulse, after that it will once again fall. You recall that voltage at any time t or current at any time t is dV dt. dV dt from this expression is equal to, in general, it is C dV dt is equal to IT. So IT by C is dV dt, is not? At any time, the rate at which the voltage will be increasing can be also expressed in this term, and we note that if IT could be any function of time, but if IT is positive, dV dt is positive. If IT is negative, dV dt will be negative. Then the voltage will start falling. In the same way as in case of an inductor. So of course, there the roles of V and I were interchanged. Therefore, you see that we have now learned something about capacitor, where you better treat that, think in that way physically, okay, some current has been passed or injected into the capacitor, and as a consequence of that, voltage will develop across the capacitor. I mean, one may feel slightly disturbed because we have only supply voltage available is in voltage form. Current source is difficult to obtain, at least at this stage, whatever I know. I can purchase a battery. Can you purchase a isolated current source? No. Therefore, it may look like, okay, voltage is there. It looks like, am I telling that, okay, a battery, but with DC circuit we have learned RC, a battery is switched on. Okay, in that case, there will be a resistance in series with capacitor. Is not? Then you are applying a voltage and it is causing some current to flow. But what I am telling is that you never do like this. You have a constant voltage, suppose 5 volt, and suppose it is an ideal capacitor C, and capacitor suppose was uncharged previously, and at t equal to 0 I am going to close it. What is going to happen then? Suppose I am telling now, current is the cause, voltage developed across the plates of the capacitor is the reason. So at t equal to 0 minus, voltage across the plate of the capacitor was 0. But for at t equal to 0 plus, switch has been closed and circuit looks like this one. Okay, from this circuit and applying KVL, I will immediately come to the conclusion, nothing doing, voltage across the plates of the capacitor will be 5 volt. C is ideal. So all the voltage will appear across the plates of the, it has to, because KVL is to be satisfied. Now we are in a situation that voltage across the plates of the capacitor V0 minus was 0 and voltage across the plates of the capacitor is 5 volt. This is the thing that has happened. In other words, what I am telling, in such a situation, I am forcing the capacitor to change voltage across its terminal from 0 to plus 5 volt in no time practically, because 0 plus, you recall what is 0 plus? This is 0. 0 plus is a time on this side and 0 minus is a time on this side. And this can be, I have drawn on a larger scale, it is like this, as small as you can think of, t greater than 0, 0 plus, close to this, 0 minus is here. Therefore, in no time, earlier capacitor voltage was 0 and at 0 plus it has gone up to plus 5 volt. Therefore, the change of this voltage level from 0 to plus 5 volt has taken practically no time. In a very small interval of time, you are telling that this voltage has changed. What will be, so like a, so who can do that? How this can happen? There was no charge on the plates of the capacitor here at 0 minus. At 0 plus, there is finite amount of constant charge. And I am telling it has not taken practically any time. To bring about a sudden change in voltage in a capacitor, therefore, but voltage across the capacitor means charge has been accumulated. You cannot deny that. Therefore, there must have been a current impulse. Okay? So that this current impulse will exist between 0 minus and 0 plus and will cause a change of voltage status of the capacitor in no time. So in such a situation, V0 plus is not equal to V0 minus, and it will be associated with then some impulse. Like mass, it is having some velocity, at t equal to 0, 0 minus. Suddenly I say that velocity of the mass has changed from one finite value to another in no time, means somebody has applied an impulse to it. That is what I will conclude. Similarly here, if such a thing happens, then you must conclude that okay, the current the current in this capacitor branch will be an impulse. A spike of current must be present between 0 minus and 0 plus, so that the area under this curve is constant, etc. about the impulse function. And such a situation should be avoided, isn't it? It is not good for any circuit to have a situation like this, that current changes like an impulse. In case of an inductor, I should see that voltage should not change as an impulse across the inductor also. In relation to that, with that word I will complete this part of the lecture and ask you to go about it. That is what I am telling. Similarly, in case of an inductor, I told that voltage is the cause, Vt, and It is the effect, L. And this was the situation in case of voltage. Now, if somebody says, okay, I know about two sources, what I will do, and let us assume I0 minus is 0. I0 minus is 0. And somebody says that, no, I have a current source. Say, let me put some number, 2 ampere current source. And here is the circuit. You connect like this. Current source, when not in use, should be kept short circuited. This is this situation. And here is the inductor, which has no initial current to it. Now, what I will do is this, at least on pen and paper, I am trying to do it and try to draw my own conclusion, that I will suddenly inject some current in the inductor. This is my It at any time t, but I0 minus is 0. It was kept open circuited. Now, what is done is this switch is turned to this side at time say t equal to 0. Then what is going to happen? For t less than 0, I0 was It was 0. That we have seen I0. For t greater than 0, say at t equal to 0 plus, what is the circuit? Circuit is this. The switch has come this side, isn't it? Switch has gone to this side. Okay. And current source has been removed. And you have, this is the, oh no, I have drawn wrong. You see, this cannot, this is what I did not mean. What I am telling is, I want to, actually this switch should be drawn like this. Then you understand. Sorry. This was the switch. Please see. Making mistake you learn. Anyway, this is the switch. Isn't it? This is the switch. And I will draw it fresh. So what I mean to say, this was the switch. This was the terminal. This way I should draw. There was some mistake here. And this is the inductor. Clear? Now, these are it is a single pole double throw switch. Switch may be either here in the position A or in position B. Let me draw it. Okay? So, this is cross out. So, I0 minus was equal to 0. What is I? I is the current flowing through the inductor. IT at any time current we are examining. And at t equal to 0, I will move the switch from position A to position B. That is the thing, t equal to 0. Then at the circuit at t equal to 0 plus, it will then look like 2 ampere current source and this inductor, nothing else. Because this has gone to this side, it is open circuited vertically. So this is the thing. And this is the current I0 plus. And what is I0 plus? Current source decides the current. That's all. So it has to be 2 ampere. So I0 minus was 0. I0 plus becomes 2 ampere. And then I will say, look here, if you suddenly connect a current source across an inductor, current will, it will not be I0 plus equal to I0 minus. I can make it like this, a circuit like that, and I will claim, look here, I have been able to change the current through the inductor in a way that I0 plus is not I0 minus. Then how to explain this? The explanation is simple. What will then happen? Yes, current will change from 0 to 2 ampere. I will tell verbally like that. Okay, this change of current has taken place in no time. Is not this finite change of current from one level to another in an inductor, that is a sharp rise of current 0 to 2 ampere has taken place in no time. That means voltage across the inductor must have been an impulse voltage. A very large voltage with very small duration of time existing between 0 minus to 0 plus. Only such a thing can cause a sudden change in current in an inductor. So anyway, think about it before doing some mathematics, and physically, verbally, how can you say things happening, explain things. It will also give a very clearer understanding instead of remembering so many formulas, this, that. Those things are there to help me out in almost all these situations. But in some tricky situations, not tricky, one can always claim, oh no, I have a current source. Suddenly I will connect that current source in series with an inductor, which, for example, was not carrying any current prior to t equal to 0, that is at 0 minus. I connect it. What happens? Yes, this is what is going to happen. Current definitely will have a step jump, and in order to have that change, the voltage across the inductor, you don't worry, it will become an impulse. A very large spike of voltage will appear. And once again, such situations are to be avoided. You must see, if in a circuit there is L, it is better. You always see that there are no situations when current is allowed to have a steep rise or fall in current. Similarly, falling current from 2 ampere to 0 suddenly, so that should not be allowed, otherwise impulse voltage will come. Similarly, in case of capacitor, you cannot allow such a situation to happen when a finite voltage is suddenly applied across the plates of the capacitor. It is bound to cause a current impulse in the circuit. That too is to be avoided. Why? Because those spikes will have large amplitude, although existing for a small time, may cause stresses on the devices, and also the voltage across the source also, the moment it is connected here, the voltage across the source also, that spike is not voltage across the this voltage is an impulse, this voltage too will be an impulse. So both source and your load is subjected to an impulse voltage, and such a situation, it is better you always try to avoid. Thank you. We will continue with our discussion next time. Thank you.